an excerpt from Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird. You never really understand a person until you consider the things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and you walk around in it.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Congregation of Westchester and our online worship service. My name is Jan Troltania, and I'll be serving as today's worship associate. Our minister, the Reverend Dan Schatz, is on leave this week, and instead, today we have with us Cheryl Miles, who will tell us about walking in the shoes of your brothers and sisters of a different hue. I especially want to welcome you visitors to our online service this morning. We hope that we'll have a chance to meet you. You can say hello in the comments and go to ucwc.org for more information about our congregation. If you'd like to get in touch directly, you can send us an email. The address is welcome@ucwc.org. After the service, we'll have an online social hour. The link and password are in Connections, which is our online digital newsletter. And we'll also put them in the comments for the service and on the screen at the end of the service. Unitarian Universalism holds that great good comes from wide diversity. So whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your heritage, and from wherever your beliefs spring, we are pleased that you are here with us. Let us walk a while together. As a reminder, Connections, the online digital newsletter, has a bunch of different announcements in it that you can take a look at. And if you missed that, you can go to our online calendar at ucwc.org on how to access our various online events. Our chalice lighting words are a poem by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. Let us now join in singing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place as Jason plays.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and
everyone, and welcome. Now is the part in our service where we invite our children and youth to join those who have gathered together with us for our service to have a very special time for all ages message. I invite us all to take a nice deep breath together as we open our hearts and our ears to the words of this service, and we listen deeply and try to truly hear. Ready? Today we have a service by our Black Lives Matter committee, and we will hear from Cheryl Miles here in a little bit, who will help guide us in how we create change with our brothers and sisters of color. But today I wanted to talk to you especially about something that's really important to me. We belong to the Unitarian Universalist Association, and as you use, we base our lives on the 7 principles as we strive for a more loving, inclusive, and fair world together. We work as a community to make this kind of world, and just as we come in all different kinds of shapes and sizes and colors, growing and changing in this quest together, so does our religion grow and change with us. As we have become more aware as a community of the hard things people of color are facing, our religion is working together to respond as Unitarian Universalists, stretching and growing our religion to be present, to listen deeply, and to stand together. That's why we've been working to create an 8th principle. We are still in the process of listening and adapting, but this is what it says. We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote, journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. In other words, we want to make a community where we work together for diversity and against racism and oppression. I hope we can take the time as the Unitarian congregation in Westchester to think on this 8th principle, and that we can create this beloved community together here.
Thank you, Cassie. Now please join me as I recite the unison affirmation. We gather, aspiring to be a thriving, caring, and welcoming community that supports each person's spiritual journey, embraces diversity, challenges us to live responsibly, and is a catalyst for a just and compassionate world. And now we have an anthem. The anthem today is called Ella's Song, and it was written by Bernice Johnson Reagan. The song lyrics were created from statements by Ella Baker, a civil rights worker whose legacy of organizing against exploitation, racism, and injustice stretched for more than 50 years. The first verse is from a statement that Baker made about the murder of 3 civil rights movement workers, Michael Sherner, James Chaney, and Andrew Goodman, during the Mississippi campaign in the summer of 1964. A search was mounted after their disappearance that involved dragging the rivers of the state of Mississippi. This search turned up the bodies of Black men who had never been looked for because they were Black. Of this painful reality, Ella Baker said, quote, "Until the killing of Black men, Black mothers' sons, is as important as the killing of white men, white mothers' sons, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until this happens," end quote.
We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until the killing of black mother's sons is as important as the killing of white mother's sons. That which touches me most is that I had a chance to work with people, passing on to others that which was passed on to me. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. To me, young people come first. They have the courage when we fail. And if I can but shed some light as they carry us through the game. The older I get, the better I know that the secret of my going on is when the reins are in the hands of the young who dare run against the storm. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing the light just to shine on me. I need to be one in the number as we stand against tyranny. Struggling myself don't mean a whole lot. I've come to realize that teaching others to stand up and fight is the only way our struggles survive. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard. Sometimes I can be quite difficult about to no man's word. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
Thank you, singers. That was wonderful. Now is the time in our service when we have the offertory. We are very grateful for all the gifts of our members that are keeping us going. While we're online, you can donate on the web at our website, by text, by app, or just mail a check. We will now receive our morning offering. Thank you for all of your generosity in every form. Let us now sing together, wherever we are, the song, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
In light of the murder of George Floyd, there have been many conversations in our country as a whole and right here in Chester County. There appears to be an increased awareness of the struggles of Black lives and an awakening to the existence of social injustices in our community. Many people are seeking ways to help bring about change. Empathy and compassion empower our fight for inclusion, equity, and social justice. Cheryl Miles will share with us 3 things to enhance our understanding of our brothers and sisters of a different hue.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Miles. I bring you greetings from Good Samaritan Services and the Black Women of Chester County in Action. Good Samaritan Services, Good Sam as we're often referred to, is a faith-based nonprofit social service agency that gives immediate aid to people who are experiencing homelessness in Chester and Lancaster County, and also to provide services to persons who are at risk of homelessness by restoring their lives to stability. Black Women of Chester County in Action is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to positively impact the economic well-being and health of Black women and girls in Chester County through education, advocacy, and leadership. I would like to thank Pastor Dan, the Black Lives Matter organization, and the congregation of the Unitarian Church of Westchester for the invitation to share your platform this morning. I would also like to give a special thank you to my sister friend, colleague, and ally, Kathy Palmquist. Everyone needs a Kathy Palmquist in their lives, especially if you're looking to get into good trouble. In September 2016, African American women leaders from the greater Chester County community were invited to a presentation and a conversation regarding the 2016 blueprint leveraging progress produced by the Chester County Fund for Women and Girls. The meeting was in response to the alarming data regarding the financial and health disparities of African American women and girls in Chester County. In a series of follow-up discussions, the group recognized that their collective insight, knowledge, expertise, and talents offered a unique opportunity to give value, voice, and validity to the African American challenges, as well as to their resilience. The group decided to move from conversation to action. As a result, the Black Women of Chester County in Action, BWCCA, was formed. During BWCCA's inaugural year, 300 non-duplicated Black women participated in BWCCA's programming. The programming had attracted women across the generational divide, from the millennials to our elders. The theme was and is caring for the leader within. BWCCA has implemented its annual leadership breakfast, biannual Black professional women's networking gathering, and an annual Aya Health Project. BWCCA has also had the opportunity last year to host the 9 Black candidates of Black elected officials and candidates in Chester County in a great discussion of leadership, community, and self-care. 2020 has given a new context for BWCCA's story. COVID-19 pandemic, the continued exposure to economic inequality, the death of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and the climate of political divisiveness has strengthened the commitment of BWCCA. BWCCA goal for 2021 will be to focus on increasing Black women and girls' participation in the political process and strengthening the resiliency of Black females and their families. Since the murder of George Floyd, there has been many conversations regarding race relations in our country and in Chester County. There appears to be a increase in awareness of the struggle of Black lives and the awakening of the existence of social injustice in our community. Many non-whites are seeking ways to bring about change for the betterment of their Black brothers and sisters. Empathy and compassion empowers one to fight for the inclusion, equity, and social justice. I would like to share 3 things that might increase your understanding of your brothers and sisters of a different hue as you contemplate your response to bring about change. Before I share, I think it's important to address the term your brother and sisters of a different hue. I am the daughter of the Most High God. My Heavenly Father is the creator of the universe and all that is in it. That means He created you too. Therefore, He is our Heavenly Father, which means we're related and we were all created in His image. However, the difference of color or hue of one's skin has greatly influenced how we as humans, as brothers and sisters, relate to one another. We all have common life desires, dreams, and goals. We have shared interests, values of family, work, play, and social issues. And we do relate to one another at various levels based on needs, experiences, and proximity. Unfortunately, our society has created a great divide among us based on race, ethnicity, religion, and gender orientation. Our failure to recognize and dismantle this great divide as a society has damaged our ability to be in a relationship in which we were created for. Separation, division, isolation from one another because of differences and indifferences has created an environment of ignorance and apathy. This is the life and death matter that has come to light in the recent months of racial unrest and social injustice. Positive social relationships are vital for everyone's survival. If we're able to view ourselves as brothers and sisters across the racial, ethnic, and cultural groups, the concept of family could be enriching and empowering to all. If we are able to listen, to seek understanding, to put ourselves in each other's shoes, to imagine what it feels like to be in the skin of your brothers and sisters of a different hue, then the heart and the soul connections that we share with God would move us towards compassion and empathy. These forged relationships would ensure that all men, women, children have the opportunity to survive and thrive in our society. As I share with you today, I needed to add a disclaimer. I am not the official spokesperson for all Black people. The information that I share is based on facts, research, and common themes in conversations among my Black brothers and sisters. However, there may be Blacks who may not agree with what I've chosen to share. The first thing that I want you to know about your Black brothers and sisters of a different hues is that we're all the same, yet we're all different. All people, as people, we all want to be loved, feel competent, and belong. We are husbands and wives and partners, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, brothers, and sisters. Our roles are vital to the care of our families, the functioning of our community, and the birthing of our next generation. We are educators, healthcare providers, business owners, public servants, lawmakers, and advocates. We value family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors. Yet the very color of our skin changes the narrative of our experience. I appreciate when a white brother or sister says that he or she is blind to race or color. I respect their stance. I think I understand the message they are trying to convey is that they view all people as equal, the same. That's admirable. That is also very hard to do. First of all white people are not the same. Then, not to see the full color of our skin is to reject the fullness of who we are. It is to refuse to accept that our ancestors were from the continent of Africa. It is to reject the fact that most of them came by force, enslaved, family dismantled, and dispersed throughout the Americas and the Caribbeans, the original cause of the breakdown of the Black family. It is to reject the fact that they were treated as property, forced to build a country that would not allow them to benefit from their labor. It is to reject the fact that trauma of racism through slavery, Jim Crow laws, redlining, continuous and explicit and implicit bias laws, policies, and behaviors have significantly impacted our worldview and the very fabric of our soul and who we are. These lasting effects prevent us from feeling accepted, valued as members of the society, and that our lives matter. We want you to recognize that our body is shaped differently from the standard white European measurements sold in the store. It makes it hard for us to find properly fitting clothes in the general market. Did you know that shea butter was our skin product of choice? It is a natural nut from West Africa that keeps our skin moisturized and beautiful. We want you to know that our hair is our crown and glory. The texture of our hair allows freedom for our brothers and sisters to express themselves in our culture. And just for the record, all Black hair is good. There are many groundbreaking medical treatments, clinical trials, and interventions saving lives and fostering healing. However, most medical care is based on the physiology of white dominant population. It does not take in consideration the nuances of the physiology of Black bodies. These differences can complicate, hinder, or prevent proper diagnosis and treatment. Improper care could compromise recovery, poor health, and or death. And to make matters worse, it is difficult for many of your Black brothers and sisters to access affordable, comprehensive health care or culturally competent, trauma-informed healthcare providers in our communities. We also want you to know that we're not a harmonious group. Our roots may have begun in Africa, but we hail from all parts of the world by force or by choice. Therefore, our experiences are vast, and values, culture, and traditions are diverse. We are not a one-size-fits-all group of people. Secondly, I want you to know that when we suffer, you suffer. Earlier, I mentioned the Blueprint report that gave data on the status of women in Chester County. During the initial presentation of the report to the predominantly white audience, there was follow-up discussions and questions on data regarding wage inequality, reproductive rights, and domestic violence. No one appeared to be alarmed or concerned about the statistics reported specifically about Black women and girls. No questions or follow-up discussion was about Black women having the highest rate of mortality from preventable disease, that they were the largest percentage of women employed in Chester County with the lowest wages compared to other groups of women, or that they were the least represented in the political process. Well, these statistics will, if not already, impact the community in which you live. One of the determining factors for our health of a community is the mental and emotional well-being of its members. Depression is significantly high in the Black community, diagnosed and undiagnosed. We may all have experienced depression at some point in time of our lives. It can range from situational, seasonal, chronic, and severe. But Blacks are less likely to seek mental health treatment because of stigma, stereotype, and the mistrust of the system that has not always been sensitive to their needs. Black mental health status further exacerbated by racial distress. What is that? It's when your Black brothers and sisters wonder if the kiss that they gave their child, partner, spouse would be their last as their loved one traveled around in their community. It is when they face the uncertainty of an encounter with the police or a zealous community watch person could do them harm. It is the knowledge that when we walk into a store that we gain more attention as a potential shoplifter than as a customer. It is awareness that if we are approved for a bank loan, it will be at a higher rate based on our zip code. Or it could be that you have to perform 4 times better than your white counterpart to be considered competent in doing the same job. These continuous stress can be toxic, leaving many Black brothers and sisters devoid of feeling joy, hope, and future. Failure of your Black brothers and sisters to access the appropriate, affordable, culturally sensitive treatment and medications when needed reduces their ability to meet the needs of their family, to be productive employees or contributing citizens. Low-income Black children are lagging disproportionately in the educational and technology achievement in our school system. Until COVID-19 pandemic and virtual learning, many Black children did not have access to a laptop or Wi-Fi in their home. Failure to recognize the cultural and learning differences of your little Black brothers and sisters create tension, conflicts, and frustration among all involved. Unmet needs begin to manifest in Black children through disruptive attention-seeking behavior in school and in the community. This initiates the involvement of the school system, the police department, and the child welfare system. Responding to negative behavior because of deficits in the system of understanding the children they serve create a financial drain of these systems and perpetuates negative stereotypes of Black students. Housing is very expensive in Chester County. A 3-bedroom apartment averages $1,500 a month plus utilities. Black males make 75% to the dollar, and Black women make 65 cents to a dollar of that of their counterparts. This is a significant reduction of spending power compared to their white brothers and sisters. Black single mothers are even more challenged to secure housing for their family, often paying 50% of their income towards housing, causing them to be housing unstable. Families unstably housed are at risk of becoming homeless. Did you know that 40% of Chester County's homeless population are Black single mothers with children? The stock of affordable housing is almost non-existent in Chester County. Shelters are limited and not easily accessible. Families move from place to place does not provide a sense of stability or security for their lives. Children miss school. Parents miss work. Paychecks paychecks are short. Sometimes families may have to separate until parents can work things out. The mental health of the family suffers. Here, more families become involved in so many other systems: the county's homeless system, the school system, the mental health, the welfare system, child welfare. These services are needed, and they usually are the safety net, which is good. However, it can also cause an emotional and financial drain on the community when all the family really needed was affordable housing. Black women have the highest maternal and infant mortality rate in the region. Black lives are being lost due to the disparity in the healthcare system and long-term racial effects of discrimination. The lack of access to affordable, affordable, culturally sensitive, lifelong healthcare, access to proper nutrition, housing, and support will allow mothers to be in an improved condition to become pregnant, to have a successful birth, and to live to raise their children. Healthy mothers and baby ensure the next generation of Black sisters and brothers. And we all need to, and we are needed to make a healthy community. The last thing I want for you to know is that everyone needs an ally, a Kathy Conquest. Everyone needs someone at some point in their lives. That saying, pull yourself up by your bootstrap, lacks a lot of soul. First, you have to have the resources to get boots. Many would not admit that someone gave them the provisions to get the boots. Secondly, you would have to make sure that your feet are healthy to put those boots on. Sore feet, diseased feet can hinder your ability to wear boots. Medical professions would be needed to treat the feet in order to put the boots on. And lastly, at some point or another, someone had to teach you how to tie those bootstraps. Therefore, to think that you did this all by yourself is just short-sighted. As an ally is a person or a group that will align with a person, a group, or a cause to help address a need. That person may be required to share his or her power, which is, or how we identify as their benefits of their privilege, their voice, and their connections. They may have an opportunity to share their resources, things like their expertise, their time, their talent, their skills, their funds. It could be sharing their knowledge of the institutional systems or the hidden rules that govern them. Or it could be him or her just being present, allowing someone or a group to know that they are not alone and that you stand with them. Lastly, it could be that you're standing in the gap for someone who could not be present or someone who could not stand, ensuring that the voice is heard and that they are being protected. We are created to be in relationship. No one or group should walk alone in this life, in fear or being devalued, especially your brothers and sisters. And I mean all of your brothers and sisters. There's an African proverb: when you run alone, you run fast. When you run together, you run far. It is important to work together, learn from each other, share in each other's struggles and lives to foster an atmosphere of compassion and empathy. It demonstrates our value that everyone deserves to live their best life. It shows that we are brothers and sisters and we are each other's keeper. It is my hope that we will all create a space of gathering, of a space of greater understanding of one another, which may lead to a greater compassion and empathy, which leads for the caring of one another. Ultimately, my hope is that we end racism and discrimination so that we may honor our Heavenly Father. Thank you for listening to your sister of a different hue. Be well, be blessed, be an ally.
Thank you, Cheryl. many, many words to ponder. As we move into the time in our service when we lift up, without names, the joys and sorrows among us, I invite you to sing, wherever you are, "There is a Love."
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding me. I rest in this love.
Good morning. My name is Sheila Grant, and I'm a member of the Pastoral Care Team and the Pastoral Contact for the month of October. Since there were no cards of sharing, I wrote a few. During these challenging times, I ask for discernment. I pray for healing, and I pray for an open heart. I wrote a card of joy for our speaker, Cheryl Miles, for helping us to begin the journey of understanding and relationship together. Thank you, Cheryl. And as always, we light a candle for all those joys and sorrows that are unspoken and remain in our heart. Thank you.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding us. We rest in this love.
Let us now join our voices together in singing the spiritual "Guide My Feet."
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain.
Matthew 25:31-46 reads, "When the Son of God appears in his majestic glory, and all of his angels by his side, he will take his seat on the throne of splendor, and all the nations will be gathered together before him. And like the shepherd who separates the sheep from the goats, he will separate all people. The sheep he will put on his right, and the goats he will put on his left. Then the king will turn to those on his right and say, 'You have a special place in my Father's heart. Come and experience all inheritance of the kingdom realm that has been destined for you from the beginning of the foundation of the world.' For when you were hungry, you fed me. When you found me thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I had no place to stay, you invited me in. And when I was poorly clothed, you covered me. When I was sick, you tenderly cared for me. And when I was in prison, you visited me. The godly would answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or give you food or something to drink? When did we see you with no place to stay or invite you in? When did we see you poorly clothed and cover you? When did we see you sick, tenderly care for you, or in prison and visit you? And the king answered them, don't you know? When you cared for one of the least of these, my little ones, my true brothers and sisters, you demonstrated love for me. Amen.